This is Keeping It PC with Caleb Maryland, and today I'm with Ohio State cornerback Devin Sanchez. How you been, fam?
Good, I've been good.
That's good. That's good. So my first question I got for you is, how's it been so far being in Ohio?
It's been good. Just getting used to it. Like I tell a lot of people, it's not different from North Shore. Like I say, North Shore is one of the closest schools to college ready. So I mean, this only thing that's different up there is just the tempo. Things move a lot faster than they do in high school. But besides that, I mean, it's really cool.
Okay. And then how's the weight program been? Because we lift like every day. So what's that been like?
It's the same thing. Lifting every day. Monday through Friday. But only thing I say, the lifting is not like North Shore where you trying to max out. You're doing, lighter weight, trying to build your muscle up. And so like when you do get up to the heavier weight, it doesn't feel as heavy. Instead of just, throwing on 4 plates on squat, you're doing 225 for 13 reps. That'll hurt you. So I mean, yeah. But besides that, I mean, it's been good. Doing a lot of new lifts that we didn't do in high school because obviously we don't have the right equipment that the colleges have. But it's been good.
Mm-hmm. And then, what has been the best experience so far? Like just being in the dorms or going out to eat?
The best experience, I would say, just being in the locker room. That's probably one of the best experiences. Or, meeting guys from, all over the country. We got guys from Australia on the team. Guys just from different places, getting to feel everybody out because, it's not like here where everybody from Houston, you're going up there where, guys are from Cali, New York, stuff like that. So you get to see a lot of new things, like how people talk, the music people listen to, what they like to eat and stuff like that. And so it's been very good.
Okay. And speaking of music, what's the weirdest thing that you heard so far since you've been up there?
Music-wise, I would have to say Jersey music's kind of weird.
Jersey music?
Yeah. Cause it's just like a lot of club music, so it's like it ain't really like real music for real. Mm-hmm. I got a couple homeboys from Jersey, but
like that stuff that be on TikTok.
Yeah, it's a lot of TikTok music. So I mean, it ain't really like music that you should really just be playing in your car.
Oh, all right. And then coming from Texas, we got all types of food down here. What's the food like up there?
Oh, it's trash. It's trash. It's trash. The food up there is just like I said, coming from here. The food up there is not it. It's not like, I mean, they got some spots that we got down here, but, mm-hmm. Besides that, I tell people all the time, like, I was eating the same food, especially when I was trying to put on weight. Mm-hmm. I was just eating Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, and Shake Shack. I just had a 3-day rotation with those. I found this one wing spot out there. It's kind of good, but besides that, it ain't really nothing to eat out there, unless, like, you want to just go to, like, a sit-down dinner, but most of the sit-down dinners that are good are real expensive, so you don't just go there every day. So,
dang, that must suck.
Yeah. And
then how much pounds did they put on you?
I put on about almost 20. I came in like 180, 197 right now.
197.
So, yeah, it's weight program. That plays a big factor in the weights, and then most of it's muscle mass, but eating wise, we have a cafeteria up there, obviously, food up there every day. So, they just putting on weight for everybody, really.
Mm-hmm. And what foods do they serve in the cafeteria?
It depends. Like, some days I don't eat up there because some days it's like it be all they cook all types of food. So like some days it'll be like they'll cook like one day I think they cook like Jamaican food. Yeah, they have like Jamaican food up there. So I was just like. They cook all types of things. We got more than one chef in there, so it's like it's different every day. Some days we'll get steak, shrimp, all stuff like that. And like I said, next day we'll get like Jamaican food, and then we'll have like Chinese food the next day or something like that. So it's just always gonna change every day.
Yeah. And then since you were an early enrollee, did you get a ring?
Nah, I didn't. I just got to go there just to watch. But I mean, we didn't really get no ring. But like I wouldn't have wanted that ring anyway. They went through a full 16-game season, and I just ain't want to come in there and just get a ring off the jump. And I ain't want it.
Yeah, dang. But what was that experience like? Being there in person, watching them win the Natty.
It was very good. Especially towards the end. I got to practice with them that Natty week. I was on scout team, so I was the only freshman on scout team, so I got to watch those guys and see what they went through. It was very cool. Traveling with the team. just all types of things. You know, seeing what they do, get ready for a game, how they prepare, how they practice. You know, the day before a game. You know, what they do in the team hotel, the walkthroughs and stuff like that. So I mean, it was very, you know, it's just opened my eyes because like it's a lot that college people get, like college player gets a lot that they get, and you know, shutting down a whole hotel just when they like pull up to just get off the bus, like that's crazy. So I mean, it was a good experience.
Okay, and then you know, practice wise, since you've been there, I would say like, who's your favorite receiver to guard?
Obviously JJ. But you know, not just JJ. JJ's not like, I mean, obviously he's the best receiver in college football, but you know, he's not the only guy that we got on our team. You know, Carnell Tate's a guy. You know, he's different. You can't guard JJ how you guard Carnell. You know, two different receivers. Mylan Graham, he's gonna be a guy this year. You know, he's different. Like all three of those guys, you can't guard the same. You know, a freshman, he came with me a mid-year, Quincy Porter. I think he was like the number 2 receiver in our class. So I mean, he's a good receiver too. He's gonna be great there too. So I mean, all those receivers are different. You know, I have fun going against all of them because you know you got to use different techniques for all 4 of those receivers. Like how you guard JJ, you can't guard Marlon like that because Marlon's more quick and you know shifty at the line, where JJ is just trying to get in his route and he's gonna big body you. So I mean, it's been good because you know it's opened up my toolbox and you know things that I got to put in my toolbox to guard those guys. But you know, at the end of the day, like our coach say all the time, like you're not gonna ever go against another receiver like that. So the game should be easier.
100%. Coming from North Shore, we were competitive every single day during practice. So is there any like difference from then to now, or?
Nah, it's no difference. You know, I say up there the practices is more intense. You know, especially like we got our thing we call ourselves BIA, and then the receiver room called themselves Zone 6. So, you know, even when we started in winter workouts, you know, we going at it. We did a DB versus receiver tug of war at like towards the end of the workouts. So we did 3 groups. You know, it's always competitive. You know, just even in the locker room, you know, just we all on different roles. So like we'll step in the receiver row to start something up. Receivers will step in our row to start something up. But you know, it's always competitive. I say I'm glad that I got to go through that at North Shore. You know, just being around a bunch of competitors that want to win. Especially like you know in the spring, like what y'all doing right now, the team rotations and stuff like that. And, you know, it get real chippy out there. But at the college level, it's just 10 times like more intense. You know, guys going at it. You know, and in college, you know, lots of fights break out just because dudes are competitive and want to compete. So I mean, that's just part of the game. You know, it builds a team culture better. But you know, it's overly competitive. Like you know, just going at it 1-on-1, 7-on-7. You know, team. All those like lead over into the next practice. The day after that. You know, the offense went to practice, defense, we're going to have a meeting about it. We need to come out and we're going to go over the film and stuff like that. And then we're going to come out the next day and we're going to do what we got to do and we're going to be on the offense.
And who won that tug of war between DBs and receivers?
We did 3 groups. I think the receivers won. The DBs won the first group. No, the receivers won the first group. I'm tripping. The DBs won the second group and then the receiver won the third group. But, you know, it was – They take it back to last year. You know, they like the guys that's been there already. They take that stuff back to last year. They take it to heart. So I mean, it's just embracing the culture. You know, I learned that like quick and early. You know, when you get up there, you know, you gotta embrace the culture quick because if you're not about the culture, then you know you're not gonna fit in.
Oh yeah, and then you know earlier you had said that the locker room was one of your favorite things. So, what has been like one of your favorite locker room moments?
My favorite locker room moment, actually when our DB coach came in there one day, he was talking about something. I forgot what we was talking about, but he came in there. Man, he was on 10. Like we was trolling him and everything. He was getting mad. I think I got a video of it, but he was getting mad. We was just trolling him. You know, all of us, you know, just laughing. And you know, when our DB coach get mad, you know, he don't like to be wrong, so like he gonna go until he feel like he's right. So I mean, that was probably one of my favorite moments right there. You know, just us like coming together as a DB group. You know, just going at it with the coaches. I say another favorite locker room moment was actually it was some of the DBs. We got into it with some of the O line and D line.
Yeah.
So we got a basketball court in our facility. So when things get chippy with more than like 3 or 4 guys, it'd be like, all right, get your team. We're gonna go to the court right quick. So we got a team full of DBs versus going up against a team for the O line and D line, and shoot, we was winning. Then dudes stopped playing defense, and then they just started backing dudes down. So then they came back and beat us 11-9. But those just good moments, just to have with your teammates. Just build a bond like that. Because when you get to college, it's like you with those guys 24/7 because you fighting all the time in the weight room, especially doing workouts. Like we about to go back up there for summer workouts. Those are some of the hardest times, and you're gonna need to lean on your brothers.
Yeah, for sure. And who's the funniest coach?
Funniest coach? We got a lot of old coaches, but I say that Coach Laurinaitis, the linebacker coach, one of the funniest coaches because he's not that old. He's younger. He's not that young, but he's one of the young coaches we got on the staff right now. Him, one of our assistant DB coaches, Mike Hunter, he got some jokes on him. But I ain't gonna lie, our DB coach, Coach Walk, got some jokes on him too though. Like he'll get at you right quick. If you try him. But I say that those 3.
Before I move on to the next question, I just gotta know because it's been on my mind. Do y'all be seeing the edits people be making of y'all?
Yeah, they be crazy. Like they made one day. Like we literally the first spring practice we had. Mm-hmm. We came out. We was practicing against cans. Like we weren't practicing. We didn't even go against the offense. Like the first couple days of practice, we didn't go against the offense, and they was just making crazy edits. And I see one where it was these number 4s, the freshmen in number 4. I was
I saw that one.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, did you see all the lamb chops one?
Yeah, I seen that. That was funny. That was probably one of the best edits so far. That's probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, I think so too. That was really nice. But my next question for you is what has your routine been since you've been down there?
I'll walk you through since I walk you through the spring and the winter workouts. So the winter workouts, when you're a mid-year, you come in you don't get days off. So when the team's off, we coming in there. So when we first started, dudes was coming late. So we would have to, I had to wake up at 5:30. We got something that's called dawn patrol. So it's you gotta clean the building for an hour. So you gotta be there at 6 and you can't be late. So I wake up at probably 5:15, 5:30. Just get up. Get there because the facility's only 8 minutes from my crib. So I get there, I eat. Breakfast consists of 2 pancakes, 2 fried eggs, and some bacon, and then water. So that's just a little breakfast that'll fill me up because I gotta eat no matter what it is. But then after that we do that. We'll lift. After we lift, I go get in the hot tub, cold tub. For probably about 15 minutes. Then shower after that, and then go to study hall. We got mandatory study hall every day. So that, then in the spring, a practice day would consist of, meetings at 7:30. So I'm waking up at 6, getting to the facility 6:25, 6:30. Eating, then out to the locker room to then. Get dressed, do what I gotta do. We'll have weigh in and stuff like that. You gotta weigh in every day. So we'll weigh in, then we'll go to meetings we go to special team meetings, start off with special team meetings. Then we go to DB meetings. Yeah. And then we go to practice. And then after practice, it's always getting in extra work. Cause I feel in high school, people don't really take the time out to get extra work. In college, you need that extra work because especially on the defensive end, especially playing DB, it's so much that you got to learn, and then there's so much that you got to do, and then the people that you guarding, you always going to need that extra work. And then after that, I go shower. I go eat. Then I go to study hall. Then I come back in, and I get one of the DB coaches out, and then we'll just go watch that whole practice day, and then just study the film, go over it. Because I feel when you get to the next level, you got to study. You got to study hard, especially the quarterback level right now that you're going to be in, especially if you want to play that first year, you got to learn everything. So the mid-year quarterback that came with me, Tavian, his first couple weeks was kind of hard because like they throwing everything at him, and then you got 2 quarterbacks in front of him that's been in that system already.
Yeah.
So he told me about the quarterback position. Though it's very hard. Then I think they're probably in film the most. Them and the linebackers, because linebackers basically the quarterback is defense.
Yeah.
So I mean it's very hard. But my routine was it wasn't that bad. Ain't really nothing to do in Ohio, so it's like you just find a routine. Keep that morning routine, that afternoon routine, and that night routine. Just eating at a certain time of the day. I say that's very important. Staying on track with what you're eating, when you eat, and then just getting the right amount of sleep. Because in college, you always need sleep because it's so much that you could do. Like one day you could sleep in at 9 o'clock, and then the next day you got to be there at 6. So like days change like that. So sleep hours is a good thing.
Oh, yeah. So you don't really get like too much time to yourself then?
Nah, not really. Probably like only really on the weekends, but I mean on the weekends it's just I'm trying to get extra work in too. So I'm calling the coach like, let's go get some work in, or like the facility's always unlocked. So like I go in there and watch film, but yeah, most time if I do, I'm just chilling at the crib, playing a game for a couple hours, then I get off and just chill.
And to backtrack what you said about you leaving the crib, as a freshman, are you living in your own apartment already, or are you just in dorms?
Now I got my own apartment, to myself.
Oh, for real?
Just staying off campus. I stay in the choir apartment building. Not too many players stay there. I think there's like probably like 6 players that stay there. I stay in one of the buildings where like they want to put like guys that they really trust there. So it's very quiet. Nothing to really get into. So I tell people all the time, like, I'm probably the loudest on my hallway. Because, like, I ain't going to say, like, I just be getting into stuff. But, like, if I have music playing, like, it's so quiet in there, like, you can literally go all the way down the hallway and you can still hear the music. That's how quiet it is. But, besides that, it's very peaceful. I got a little apartment to myself, play the game when I want, do what I want. So, it's cool.
Dang, that's what's up. Because I know, like, a lot of colleges don't really let their freshmen stay by themselves. So
for sure, I know for sure the SEC doesn't. I know the SEC, I think you got to stay in the dorm.
Coming off of all those 4 years of North Shore, playing at such a high level, now being at Ohio and being away from family, what's one thing that you've learned about yourself?
I would say, doing adult things, like grocery shopping. Like that's one big thing that, when you get there, because it's like, most time you go grocery shopping with your mom or your dad.
Yeah.
And you just standing there, on your phone. But, like, when you go there now, like, especially when I was on a meal plan and stuff like that, I got to look for certain things. Like, I ain't never did that. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing, just growing up. Two, I would say, knowing that I have to talk to my parents. Being here being here my whole life, basically all my 18 years here, you probably got to talk to your parents as much. Because, you live in the same house. But when I'm 18 hours away from my parents, it's like, dang. And then especially, like, when I was going through it in the spring, like, it was so much thrown at me. Like, I was, getting reps I was starting with the twos. I was only mid-year starting with the twos. And then getting reps with the ones. Also, it's so much coming in at me at once. So it's like, it kind of, like, break you down and, like, test your mental. Because it's like, dang, like, I'm really doing this right now. I'm 18 years old. And I'm doing, like, I'm playing a grown man sport now because I'm with dudes that's 21, 22, 23 years old. So it's like, just talk to my parents, all the time. I talk to my mom all the time.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I didn't really know I needed as much, just hearing my parents' voice. Because I feel like the further you are, the harder it is. Because, you go to LSU, it's 4 hours away. I could,
you can
to my mom, like, I drive back. If I go to UT, I'm 2 hours up the road. I can just come home, but in Ohio, my parents just can't just get in the car and just drive down there, or they can't just, they just get on a flight and just come down there. So talking to my parents all the time. That's what I really say. Just growing up and doing things alone, living in your own apartment, paying your own bills, grocery shopping, obviously, and then I realized what's crazy is gas, like. Especially the type of car I drive,
What car you drive?
I drive a Durango.
Ooh. Okay.
So, like, gas is, like, a big thing because it's like, all right, when you in high school, your parents kind of got you.
Yeah.
So, like, I drive 45 minutes to go somewhere. But when I'm up there, it's like, all right, I don't really want to drive. Not even 30 minutes, because it's like, yeah, my car eat gas, so it's like that gas is real. You run through, I don't let my car get to eat, but like most of the time I'm spending like $70 to fill my tank up. So it's like, all right, now I don't even want to drive no more. So it's like sometimes I be trying to carpool with some of my teammates, because it's like, yeah, that's crazy. But just adult things. It's like one of the big things that I learned about myself is like, and then obviously spending money.
Yeah.
Especially NIL being a big thing now. You probably gonna get a lot of money when you go to school. So it's like, I'd say the biggest thing, just obviously, when you get there, splurge on yourself, get you something nice, but like let that die down, because it's like, all right, but that's still gonna be there. So like those same Louis shoes that you wanted when you first got there, still gonna be there 6 months later. It's still gonna be there. So it's like, all right, you don't got to get all that right now, because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get it when I first get there, but like let all that die down. It's like, all right, bro, I don't need all that, because it's like, then I say the realest thing was the coaches know what you buying too. Like coaches, like especially in Ohio, it's a college football town. Like it's no NFL team out there, no NBA team in Ohio and Columbus. So I mean, the coaches got connections everywhere. So like, you go in that store, you buy that, then you go back to the facility a couple days later, your coach know that you bought that. Like, all right, like I don't want you knowing that I bought that. So like, it's just knowing how to spend money and stuff like that.
Yeah. Since getting to such a prestigious school and so many guys leaving for the draft, like all the corners and stuff, and you were that guy for 4 years, 5-star, #1 in the nation for your position. How is it like to kind of fill in that role for the dudes who left?
It's amazing. Obviously Denzel left, Jordan Hancock left, Lathan Ransom left. So we still got IGB there. Jermaine Matthews, Caleb Downs, but besides those guys, really nobody else has played. So I mean, it's very amazing that I can come in there and have an impact my freshman year.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Getting on the field my freshman year, having an impact. And it's very possible that I'll be out there week 1 against Texas. So I mean, it's just a role that you got to grow up from, because obviously me being the #1 corner when I left high school, that don't really matter when you get up there to college, because it's like it's all those guys up there can play, regardless of if they was #1 or regardless if they was number 100, they all can play. So just filling those roles and having the opportunity to do that, from the jump, my freshman year, being a true freshman, being 18, just going in there and filling some roles like that, is very amazing, and it's God given.
And what player have you learned the most from on the defensive side so far?
The defensive side, Jermaine Matthews and Davidson Igbinosa, two of the like returning, corners. Obviously IGB started. This would be his 3rd year starting there. Jermaine's been there, since his freshman year. He's going into his junior year. So those guys have learned a lot. They've been under Coach Walt. So just picking those guys' brain, in the locker room, in film, because they know what's going on. They've been in the defense, obviously. So it's just picking their brain and just learning what they learn, and then obviously putting it into my game.
So what's a piece of advice that you would give to like a kid or a fan that wants to be like you?
I say really just working, from wherever. Like if I see a little kid, just starting at the Little League level and they want to know, I started at the Little League level too. So I mean, Little League level is about just having fun, just being a kid. Now it's changed, but like back when I was in Little League, it's just about having fun. Then when you get to the high school level, it's like learning what you want to play. Like don't go into high school knowing, oh yeah, I want to be like Travis Hunter. I want to play offense and defense. I want to do everything. Like nah, like find out what you did. Like find out what you want to play. Find out what you have a passion for. And I found my passion when I was in 9th grade.
Yeah.
Or going into 9th grade. I went to my first UT camp. It was 100 receivers, like 150 receivers, and it was on like 10 DBs. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take the time out to learn this position. So I say like just take the time out. Just if you want to play DB, just take the time out to like build your craft at that position. Because not too many people want to play it, because one, you're playing a hard position on the field. You're doing everything backwards, and especially when you get to the next level, college, playing off is like one of the hardest things to ever do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because one, the receiver's coming at you full speed. So I say, you know, to a young kid that just want to do that at the next level, you know, just take the time out, you know, work and build your craft. You know, really like when it started getting bad and you start hating it, that's when, you know, that's when the best comes out.
Yeah.
Because like when you hating, like, oh, I don't want to play this no more. Like, cause I had that too when I was coming up playing DB. You know, I was like, bro, I hate this. Like, I don't even want to play this no more. Like, let me just go play receiver. But it's like just like buckle down. You know, just stay locked in on it. Cause like if you really want to do it, you can do it. And then, you know, when you get to the high school level, and then, you know, when you want to be a top recruit, you know, you still got to work. And I say, you know, obviously we've had the opportunity to, you know, go to a better school like North Shore, obviously, you know, one of the top schools in Houston. You know, go there because I mean, competition wise, I mean, like you gonna play the best schools.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously when we get to the playoffs, you're gonna play the best schools, and you know, obviously I was there, you was there. You know, where we going? We're going round 5 state championship. Like we gonna play the best teams every year. Like my all 4 years of my high school. Except for my last year, obviously, you know what happened around 5.
We don't talk about that.
But you know, my freshman year, I got to go to the state championship. My sophomore year, I was the only sophomore on the defense starting. You know, I had to, you know, come down, you know, grow up, because I was playing with a bunch of seniors. I was the only sophomore out there. My junior year, obviously, we went to the state championship too. So it's like you gonna go against the best dudes. So I say, you know, go to the best school. You know, just work. Compete every day. Don't be afraid of reps. You know, if nobody want to get the rep, you know, jump out there. You know, regardless if you lose or not, still jump out there. And if you lose, you know, call that dude back out. Cause I mean, I don't know nobody that's just gonna get called out and not step out there. So like, if I call somebody out, they gonna step out there. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if you lose that rep, call them out again. And, you know, go at it. Cause you know, coaches look at that. You know, I learned that, you know, at a young age. You know, coaches look at, you know, the dudes that's going out there competing against the top dudes. Even if they losing, they still gonna, you know, look at those guys. And if you win some reps, they gonna look at that. They're not gonna look at the guys that just stand there in the back. You know, don't ever stand in the back. Like I tell people all the time, like those little kids that, you know, that want to be where I'm at. You know, well, you got to come out there and you got to work. Like you got to go against those top guys. You know, even when you're not the biggest or you're not the strongest, you're not the fastest, you still got to go against those guys, because that's the only way that you're gonna get recognized.
Yeah. But since we cool?
Yeah.
All right. Since, you know, you just mentioned how you went to state 3 times besides that last year, what is the media difference between, you know, our state game compared to y'all's game against Notre Dame?
It's very different. You know, in high school, you know, all the media is on the field, and, you know, one area, you know, they in designated areas and stuff like that. But, you know, it's still a lot of media there at the high school state championship, because obviously that's like one of the biggest games in the football season. And, you know, especially during the state, especially, you know, the 3 years I was there, especially, we playing Duncanville. So,
Most
you know, that's like probably one of the most anticipated matchups all season. You know, they talk about that game. You know, we'll play, like my sophomore year, we played them. When they beat us the first time, it was like next year, they already jumped in next year, North Shore versus Duncanville. And what happened? I mean, obviously, you know, we didn't come out on top, but, you know, it's a lot of media up to it. But, you know, at the college level, you know, there's media everywhere. Like, it's media when you walk to the locker room. It's media, you know, when the buses pull up. It's media, you know, at the hotel when you leave and go to the game. So, I mean, the media is just way different. But, you know, it's a bigger distraction than high school, obviously. You know, all those cameras and, you know, people want to stop you for interviews and all that. You know, that's a way bigger distraction, especially, you know, getting ready for a national championship. You know, you gotta learn to cancel people out. You know, I learned that. You know, just being there, you know, everybody asking questions and stuff like that, all the cameras and all the mics in your face, you got to learn to, you know, just walk away sometimes. So that's the biggest difference. Then obviously the game, you know, it's cameras everywhere. You know, it's cameras at every end zone, all through the sideline. You know, they got the little camera above the game, stuff like that. So, I mean, the media is very different, but it's great at the same time because, you know, get that exposure, you know, hear the thoughts that people have and, you know, what they got to say.
Yeah. All right, Devin. This is a segment where I'm gonna just shoot a couple questions at you. Whatever comes to mind first, you gotta say it. All right.
All right, bet.
All right. Favorite candy?
Mambas.
Mambas. What's
Yeah.
Mambas?
It's like a juicy candy. You know, they got different flavors. You know, raspberry, strawberry, orange, lemon, stuff like that.
I never heard of that. Favorite cleats?
Cleats, Nike cleats. Vapor, 360s, speeds. Yeah.
Worst restaurant you been to at Ohio?
Worst,
Worst.
Roosters. Trash.
Favorite brand of clothes?
Nike.
100 million versus Gorilla.
Gorilla.
What?
Gorilla.
No.
Gorilla.
100 million.
Gorilla.
Chair.
Chair. Sit.
Beach.
Walk.
Ice.
Drink.
Sand.
Sand. Play with the toes. I don't know.
House.
House. Family.
Jump.
Dunk.
All right, y'all. This is Keeping the PC with your host, Caleb Maryland. You know, I want to thank Devin for coming all the way out here. You know, he just got back home, so I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
And tune in on the next episode.